Okay, so let's talk about breast implants. Yay! So a lot of people have been asking about this, but I wasn't really sure if I should make it. Really, it was the Finesse Artist on her channel. She's been very forthcoming with plastic surgeries, the surgeries that she's gotten, and the ones that she's planning for the future. And you know, her channel is extremely helpful. Like, it is a gold mine of just info on skin lightening, on money, and you know, on any type of glow up procedure you could think of. Like, if you haven't seen her channel, like, you're missing out. But anyways, so yeah, I was pretty much inspired by her recent, she just got the ethnic rhinoplasty, which is something I've been looking at for about a year now. Well, it took me a year to kind of find out what kind I would need. I always knew I was going to get a rhinoplasty, like, since I was a teenager. Really hate it when I smile. I hate it so much. But oh my gosh, the profile is the worst. I haven't even washed my face yet today. I'm so gross. Just my nose, it definitely keeps me from smiling as big as I want to, and I would say it's something that bothers me on a daily basis. And yeah, but anyways, she just got hers done. It looks amazing. I was so shocked. Her swelling really isn't that bad. Like, she had a deviated septum as well. Well, I don't have one, but she had a deviated septum as well as wanting to do some cosmetic things to it. So I think she also said she had like a bump. I don't really have a bump. Mostly like mine is for, you know, just how bulbous my nose is and you know, the nostrils. So my surgery will be a little different than hers, but I was shocked at how well her nose looks, and it's under a month. Usually for nose jobs, if this is something like you've been watching for a long time and you always knew that you're going to get one, you see most people will not see their true nose until a year after surgery. It takes a full year for all the swelling to completely go down and for your nose to settle. So it's kind of the same with breast implants. We'll get onto that. But yeah, I'll pretty much be going to the same doctor that she went to and getting the exact same procedure. And yeah, most likely going to be happening probably January or February of 2020. So when I started out, I had a B cup, and I always wanted larger breasts even before I had even grown breasts. So before I even went through puberty, I just always just like loved fuller figures. I thought it was womanly, and I don't know, they just like look nice. But sadly, I was not blessed with it. I decided, you know, a B cup, and I never liked the shape of my breasts. My breasts were more, I would say, angular than round, and so that yeah, messed with my confidence a bit. But in a bra, like in one of those, you know, 2 cup sizes bras, you could have them, you know, pushed up pretty high, and you know, it would look nice. I got my first, because I've had 2 breast augmentations, I got my first one done when I was 20 years old, and it was super easy. I actually didn't even tell my husband like I was going to do it. I basically went and got it done, was home, and he came home from work, and I was in the bed kind of, you know, a little loopy. But yeah, it's like it's that easy. Like, it really was nothing. I don't want to say that it's without risk, because right now there's a lot of people coming forth saying that their implants are making them sick and they're having them removed, and they're seeing that they have more energy. And yeah, there's some stuff that people are getting more comfortable talking about. So I don't want to say getting breast implants is without risk. I'm talking about the surgery and the recovery. In my experience, both surgeries that I've had were super easy. We went under the muscle. My first augmentation was saline implants. That's just salt water. And yeah, they went under the breast down here. When you're getting breast implants, you can go in the nipple. So pretty much make an incision in the nipple. You've probably seen this on Snapchat, on Instagram. Lots of these plastic surgeons have started taking video. So yeah, you can go through the nipple, you can go through the belly button, you can go under the breast, so right here, or you can go through the armpit. My doctor didn't offer through the armpit, but I wish I would have gone through the armpit, though I'm fine with under here. The scar, I don't know if I should try to take a picture of you guys, maybe I will. The scar really isn't bad. I'm a person who, I have keloid scars on my body. I have 2, so I really have to be careful about scarring. Thankfully, I didn't get keloids. The scar is very light and you cannot see my scarring. When you first get them, they're gonna sit very high. They're gonna be a little hard. Like now, like, you know, they're squishy, they move. But yeah, they're pretty high at first and then they settle. So during that first year, they're gonna look a little different. And after that, you'll see what they'll be like for the rest of, I don't know, the time that you have them. What most people generally don't realize with breast implants is that it's never a one and done deal. Like, it's never one surgery and you're done. FDA recommends you getting them replaced every 10 years. Some people have them replaced sooner than that. Obviously, I got mine replaced sooner because there's a number of reasons why you might want to. Number one, with saline, you might have rippling at the edges. Basically, rippling means when you are, like, let's say, if you're on all fours and your like chest is like towards this way, I don't know, you might be able to feel or see some of the outer side of the implant where that skin is really thin. It's different. Some people have it, some people don't. With saline, you have more of a chance of seeing rippling than you do with silicone. So yeah, some people get them replaced or upgraded to silicone after they get their first augmentation. Some people have a child and that's why they have to replace them afterwards. Cardi B was very honest with her post-baby body that she was gonna have to get her boobs redone because pregnancy is a huge change. And yeah, even for people who have breast implants, you might not like what they look like after having a baby and after breastfeeding and all that stuff. It's a part of, you know, becoming a mother. So mine, I had to get mine redone after I had my son. Some people will say maybe they had like a leak, which I have seen some of these doctors have driven over an implant and it will not burst. They've stepped on it with a stiletto. Like, these implants are very resilient. So for your implant to burst, I've only heard about this happening like in a car accident or something where there's this extreme force. Like, if someone was to punch you in the breast right now, it's not gonna burst. Like, you can lay on them, you can push it up against the wall, like, so those are very rare occurrences, but it has happened and it can happen. So yeah, first time they were high. I was very worried when I got my breast implants done that I was going to get stretch marks, because when I went through puberty, so around 11, 12, I got stretch marks on my butt. So my thighs and my butt, you know, pretty long stretch marks. And so I was like, ugh, I'm scared about them getting so big overnight, because I went double D the first time, and then I'm right now I'm at a triple D. That's because I had extra loose skin to fill, because after I had my son, anyways, breastfeeding, your boobs get 3 times as big as they normally are. Anyways, so yeah, where was I? Goodness gracious. I was worried about stretch marks, and thankfully I did not get any stretch marks after any of my procedures. It was not until I breastfed and I had my son, they got really big. They got, I would say F or G size. It was just really large, and it was in such a small, like, short period of time. Like, I hadn't even given birth yet and they were getting that huge. And then once I had them and they started filling up with milk, they got even bigger. They got so large I didn't even keep track of the bra size. I would double up 2 grandma bras, and that's how I kept them, you know, under control. So that is where I got my stretch marks, and you know, stretch marks are also genetic, so not everyone's going to have this issue. Not everyone who has a child is going to get stretch marks. Not everyone who breastfeeds is going to get stretch marks. I mean, like I said, I got them before I even started breastfeeding, so we're not going to blame it on breastfeeding or anything. Yeah, just it happens for some people. So basically I went from a C to a double D. Oh no, I went from a B to a double D, and then a few months later I got pregnant by my husband at the time. I'm not married anymore, but yeah, and then they got even larger, and they start to grow within, I would say, month 2 or 3 of being pregnant. So it starts fast. It starts fast. So that did me in, and I've been looking at, there's a laser treatment in California, and over the years our lasers have started getting better. So there's a treatment there, and so far they are the best for removing stretch marks. I will probably get the nose drops happening before any type of stretch mark removal, but anyways, so yeah. My second augmentation was, my son was 1 at that time, so I was done breastfeeding and done doing all that good stuff, and we went silicone this time, and we had to go larger because I had a lot of extra skin, a lot of loose skin. One plus to having a baby and having breast implants is that it helps them drop down more and look more natural. So you're gonna have more swing, more movement. There are some women whose breasts always stay high and tight. Some people like to call this like the porno look, the porn star look, or whatever. That not everyone's breast is gonna look like that. That is a blend of the type of implant that they got. By type, I mean, did they get the teardrop, did they get the gummy bear? There's different sizes, there's round, there's teardrop, there's gummy bear, there's like so many different types of implant. And then obviously where they had it placed, is it submuscular, that's under the muscle, is it on top of the muscle, and it has to do with how much tissue they have on their chest to begin with. A woman coming in with an A or less than an A obviously is going to have it's going to be stretched tight, so hers are going to look more, they might not move as much, they're going to be soft to feel, but they might not have as much swing to them. I'm using like the worst descriptive words, but that's all I have right now. But yeah, it might not have as much swing as a woman who already has like a B or a natural C, because she's going to have natural breast tissue. And with implants, I do want to say, for majority of people, 90% of people, yes, you will be able to tell that you have breast implants. If someone touches them, you're intimate with someone, like, you're going to be able to tell, like, it does not feel 100% like natural breast tissue. It just doesn't. I'm not sure about the people who already have Ds or larger, if it's different for them because they have so much breast tissue. The breast tissue might sit on top of the implant where you can't feel it, but for everyone else, yeah. So this isn't something where you can fool people. You can fool people when you're in clothes maybe, but when you're intimate, like, you're gonna be able to tell. It's not a turn off or anything, like, it still feels fine. I've never had anyone complain about it. I'm just letting you know that yes, you can tell when someone has breast implants, and it will not feel like a real breast, because it's not, but it will still be soft, it'll still feel good. Some people have issues with I cannot think of the term, thankfully I did not have it, but basically when they're healing, they formed scar tissue around the breast, and it gets very hard, it gets rock solid. I'm not sure why some people get this and some people don't. If this is because they weren't massaging it as much, like as soon as you get the procedure done, you have to massage them like every day for like, I think it's like 10 minutes to 15 minutes a day. And yeah, that's going to keep it nice and soft and keep that scar tissue from forming around, and it encapsulates the implant, because your body's basically saying this is a foreign object, and so anyways, it encapsulates it to keep you safe. But this does not happen to everyone, but this is another risk. So just know there are risks involved with this. Thankfully, I didn't have any of those issues. Just know that it's not just, oh, I'm going to get one breast augmentation and I'm going to be done for the rest of my life. No, you're going to probably have a few, and I listed all of the reasons of why. And even if you don't have any issues, and even if you don't have any children, or maybe you love your boobs after having children and they're fine, you don't need to get another set, you still have to, because the FDA just warns people that you should just replace them 10 years at least. A big question people ask is, can you still breastfeed with breast implants? 100%. Having breast implants does not hinder your ability to breastfeed at all. I've never heard of anyone not being able to. So yeah. As far as going back to work, I went back to work I think a day after I got them done, or maybe 2 days after I got them done. And the only thing they say is like, don't raise your hands above your head. Not to do that, I think, for either a week or 2 weeks. So if you're gonna wash your hair, you know, you're gonna have to do like this, or have someone help you. If you have, you know, black hair, ethnic hair, we can go like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month without washing our hair, so it's not really a big deal for us. Trying to think what else. Based off the breast shape. Okay, so some people think getting breast implants is gonna completely change their breast. Like I told you, I had angular breasts to start with. They weren't so much round. I mean, they're round, but I would say they were slightly pointy, my natural breasts, before I got this done. So for me, obviously, putting in a implant is going to make it much rounder, and you know, it's gonna look, you know, nicer. But as far as for people who maybe they want their boobs closer together, so if you have boobs that are farther apart, do not think that after getting implants it's going to make them closer together and you're going to be like those girls who basically, you know, like they look like they always have cleavage even without a push-up bra. Like they could be braless and they still look like they have cleavage. That's not going to happen for you. They will get closer because of the tissue. But that depends on how large of an implant you get. So if you get, and it also, I think it depends on how big is your chest. If you have like a smaller chest, then obviously you can get away with a smaller implant. If you have wider shoulders, a wider chest, you might have to go a little larger. But I'm just saying, like, don't have unrealistic expectations. Show the doctors what you want through pictures or whatever, and most of them are going to be 100% honest with you of, yes, we can make it look like that, or it's kind of gonna look more like this, you know. So just understand what's realistic and what is not realistic. Obviously, when I'm going out, like, I still would wear a push-up bra, you know, just to get that volume up there. There are different ways of placing the breast implant to make it to where you have more volume on top. Get that, like, I call it a porn star look. You could have them placed higher. Honestly, I like it a little lower because, like I said, sitting lower, it looks a little more natural. Really, it looking natural depends on obviously how large you went, but how big is your frame. If you have a smaller frame to begin with and you have these triple Ds, people are gonna be like, she got some big boobies. Lots of people are gonna ask, are your boobs real? Like, even when I'm not showing cleavage, most of the time I'm in shirts that come up to my collarbones. So yeah, they just see the outline and they ask if they're real, just because, you know, they're curious. I've met family friends who, her and her husband one time went through all of my old Instagram photos from like years, trying to see if I had gotten a breast, you know, augmentation, because I don't know, when they met me, they saw, you know, a smaller frame, even though I'm pretty tall, I'm 5'6", but they just saw a smaller frame with larger breasts, and so they were curious. So, you know, people are going to wonder, but if you get something like a size C, or even just like 1D, not like a double D, just like 1D, you might just be fine. But I went pretty large. If you guys have any more questions, then you know, just let me know about it down below, and I'll see you in my next video.